Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. And it's brisket. That's right. I'm going to attempt brisket again. We are gonna actually attempt this on my Ninja Woodfire Grill Pro XL, but the reason I'm inside is because it is nasty outside. I live in Florida, and it has decided to be one of those days. Nice thing about the Pro Connect XL is it's a Pro Connect. I can set everything up outside, I can monitor it from in here, and I can just cook it outside. But we gotta trim this brisket down, we gotta season this brisket, hopefully not over season this brisket, and get this thing going. I'm gonna say I'm 0 for 4 on brisket right now. I have over seasoned every single brisket I have ever cooked. The last one I did was a brisket junior, which was the pieces left over from the prior brisket that I over seasoned on my Weber kettle that I cooked on my little Ninja. I found a ratio, it said 1 tablespoon of coarse salt and 1 tablespoon of coarse pepper to 1 pound of meat. I followed that to a T, still over salted. I found that in a couple places. However, I found a couple places that said 1 teaspoon. So I'm gonna go with the teaspoon ratio today. You can't take salt back. So that's the plan. I would rather have an undersalted one that I can salt extra on the board than this thing being over salty and me upset at myself that I have done it again. This is a 14-pound brisket. The Ninja Pro Connect XL says it'll fit up to a 10-pound brisket. I'm gonna have to do some trimming on this bad boy to get it in there. This will not fit. This is a choice grade brisket from my local Sam's Club. This is not the prettiest brisket I've ever seen. The fat cap looks okay, but look at that huge gouge in the fat cap right there. We'll deal with it. I'm not looking for a giant, pretty presentation brisket. I'm not that guy. But, okay, I am not gonna go over how to perfectly trim a brisket. There are billions of videos out there how to do that. I'm gonna give this a quick trim. I am gonna cut a lot off of this brisket so that we can get it into the Woodfire Pro Connect XL. I'm gonna use all of those trimmings to make burgers and all sorts of stuff because I bought myself a grinder attachment to go onto my KitchenAid mixer. I will be reviewing that soon. Let's get into this. If I can remember how to trim a brisket. Quick YouTube Academy Mad Scientist Barbecue video later, and I'm ready to trim. I will link the video that I just watched. You don't realize how XL this is until you attempt to bring it in the house where it doesn't belong. Not the best brisket, but a brisket. And I think, yes, that was fun. Now for the scary part. We have to season it. To do that, we have to figure out how much did I take off of this brisket. It started at 14 pounds, just shy of 8 pounds. Yeah, I got a little aggressive with my trim. I'm not very good at this. But I think I got a decent looking brisket. I got a lot of meat out of that I can grind up into some fantastic burgers and some sausage that we can use for videos later. I'm not too upset with this. It fits nicely in the XL Pro Connect. All right, time to season this up. I'm gonna skip a binder this time. Lots of people don't use the binder. They say you don't need it, so I'm gonna skip it. I'm using sea salt because I don't have any kosher salt left. I looked it up. As long as the granule size is correct, you should be fine. Now we have an 8-pound brisket. If we're gonna follow the teaspoon of salt ratio to pound of meat, we need 8 teaspoons of salt. Now I'm gonna do 5 teaspoons of the coarse salt, and I'm gonna do 3 teaspoons of the Lowry's. This is a seasoned salt. It's got MSG, it's got some garlic in it. It adds a really cool flavor to it. My pepper that I have is not the correct coarseness. And I think that kind of messed up my bark last time. I do have this little electric pepper grinder that I can set the coarseness on. So I'm going to set this to kind of all the way coarse and see what I end up with and grind my own. Oh, it is coming down out there. It does not want me to do this video today. We're gonna throw this in my old shaker I have here. So we'll season the meat side first. You wanna season from up high. So you get an even seasoning. And we'll press this in. Give it a flip. Good amount here on the fat cap. So that's where we want this bark to build.
I'm gonna try to pick some up off the board for the sides.
We'll say compared to my previous cooks, this looks much less seasoned, but I'm gonna go with that because I've over-seasoned everything. We'll let this sit for a little bit and then we'll go ahead and fire up the Pro Connect XL right at the edge of my patio because I think that's the only part that's not wet. I've got the wood fire literally at the edge of my sliding glass doors on my patio. We're gonna use the Kona blend pellets today, the hickory. I think these will go well with it. I've done a video testing all kinds of pellets in the Ninja Woodfire. I'll throw that link down below. Also throw a link to these pellets. I do like them. Not sponsored, but it is an affiliate link. It helps me out if you use it. Throw it down in the description below. Let's go set up the Woodfire grill. I'm hoping that it's not too wet and moist outside, that we still get some good smoke on this, but you'll see how interesting of a setup this is.
We're gonna set this to the smoker setting, 225, and put it to about 8 hours.
While the grill's heating up, since this is the Pro Connect XL, and it has 2 probes, we might as well use them. We'll put one in the flat, right around over here, one there, and then we'll put one in the point, right there. That way when this thing's in there, we can know exactly where the 2 of these are at. Even though with a brisket, it's not really done by temperature. 203 degrees is technically done, but you want to test it for probe doneness, where it feels like you're putting your probe into a jar of peanut butter. But it's a really good beginner way to know that you're kind of there. And especially on a grill that you've never done a brisket, really helpful information. As far as temping technique goes, everything I found when you look for pellet cooker brisket, they're all doing overnight cooks because they have the big old pellet cookers that have the hopper where you can just put it in there, set it, go to sleep, let it cook for 12 hours at 200 degrees, and it's fine. And it's in a big cook chamber, and that works. That's not gonna work in this tiny cook chamber cooker with a little itty bitty hopper that you constantly have to refill. You'd be up all night filling that thing with pellets. It's not gonna work. So I did a little bit of back and forth looking at different stuff, and this is a Texas style brisket that I'm doing with just the salt, pepper, Lowry's. So I kind of settled in on 225 degrees for 3 or 4 hours, let it get some heavy smoke, and then I'm gonna do the foil boat method from Chud's Barbecue at like 250 to 275 until it reaches the 203 and the probe temp. I don't know how long that's gonna take. We'll find out, but that's my goal. That's what I'm gonna go for. I thought the foil boat would be good. It's gonna help preserve some bark. I hope it works. I hope I get some tasty brisket. I really want tasty brisket. I've messed it up so many times. Come on, brisket gods. Come on, barbecue gods. Give me something good. Oh, we're ready. It's go time, guys.
As you can see, it is nasty out there. So I'm gonna get this in there, hook these probes up, and get out of there.
Time to Pro Connect XL this bad boy. Let's go to thermometer. You gotta go to manual. 200, we'll go to 200 degrees. And then manual, 200. We have wood fire activated, smoker temp at 225, cook mode. Both of those are set to 200. See you in a little bit. 3 hours. Probe number 2 is at 170. Probe number 1 is still at 160. I think we're gonna foil boat this fella and see how it does. Looking at it, it actually looks pretty good so far. Now, the foil boat method versus wrapping it completely in foil and adding a bunch of tallow and stuff like that is a method from Chud's Barbecue. It's supposed to preserve your bark a little bit better on the top. To do that, I'm gonna go double layer. You're literally making a little boat, or I've heard people call it a sweater, of foil around the outside of your brisket, which, just like when you're wrapping a brisket, is there to do one thing: insulate it and speed up the cooking process. But in this case, we're also trying to preserve our bark. There's our little boat. Let's go take it back and put it in the river. That makes no sense. We're gonna put it in the smoker. And this way, it's still getting exposed to more smoke. We want as much smoke as possible in a pellet grill like this because they're not as smoky as an offset smoker. So the more smoke we can throw at this, the more smoky and better flavor we're gonna get on our brisket. So I think the boat's the way to go on this. Now that it's in its boat, and it's in the smoker. We're gonna kick the temperature up to 250. That should promote a little bit more rapid cooking. I think we've built a good looking bark. I think we've got a good flavor profile going on. Now we're looking for fat render and tenderness. I sound like I know what I'm doing. I don't. We are 5 hours into this cook. And we are dangerously close to our 200-degree temps. Still, okay, that seems very tender. But over here seems like it could go a little bit longer. You're a little hard.
At 6 hours, the rain decided to stop, and my daughter had a golf practice that did not get canceled, which means I'm not going to be able to get back to this brisket for a couple of hours. But thanks to the ProConnect XL, I can monitor it from anywhere, so I'm going to wrap it up, leave the probes in, and leave it cooking at 250. I threw it in the smoker in its little package. We're going to let it go in there. Hopefully, I'll be able to either shut it off or it'll shut off by itself when it hits 200. It'll set in there till it's ready to eat, kind of in a heated rest for the next couple hours until I can get home. But hopefully this works. Still warm, that's a good sign. Kiddos here. Looks wise, out of 10, for me, I'd give this a 10. It has a good bark on it. I think I did good. This is the best brisket I've ever cooked looks wise.
Give it a 9.5.
Let's see. That's a little tight. That goes in nice and easy.
It looks super
That's
crispy.
nice and
Really
easy.
good.
Ooh, that went in like butter.
But like,
That goes in like butter.
I feel like it would be good with a little bit more extra juice on it to make it juicier.
Juice on the outside's not what you're looking for on a brisket, kiddo. Juice on the inside's what you want.
Yeah, well, I want to see the juice on the inside.
Okay, it probes pretty easy. It is a little tight. I think probably could have gotten maybe a little bit more time to go more tender. Okay, see if I remember how to cut a brisket. I think you go, I don't remember how to cut a brisket. Let me look it up. Okay, the first cut we're supposed to do over here is the end cut. There's the end cut.
Okay.
Not too bad. Let's see if it pulls apart. A little chunky, but pulled apart okay. This is the lean end, so it is going to be a little bit leaner, less fatty. I didn't oversalt it. I finally didn't oversalt a brisket. It's pretty good.
I think this is your best brisket yet.
I think so. We'll take this middle slice here. There's the middle slice.
Looks good.
Okay, we're gonna do like the bend test. It passes the bend test. It's supposed to do this. It is supposed to bend over your finger.
Yeah.
Like that. Then
The break test.
pulls apart. Little bit of resistance there.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit more tender. Not too bad though. I want to get this part with a little bit of fat. Ooh, that's good. What are you asking for?
Yeah.
Now you gotta do the barbecue shot where you push and watch all the juices come out of the middle there. That is not bad. This was not a particularly fatty brisket. All right, we're gonna cut a little bit here from this burnt end here. This is usually one of the better bites of brisket. I'm gonna dip it in a little bit of this rendered tallow. Ooh, that was pretty good. This is 100% the best brisket I have ever cooked. I actually seasoned it properly. It's cooked pretty well. I think if I had let this go a little bit longer and get more tender, it would have been absolutely perfect, but I feel like I have the technique down. I let it go, I foil bowed it, and then if I would have just let it ride till it hit that probe tender and I would have been able to baby it and watch it, I would have gotten perfect brisket. This is very close to perfect brisket. This is 100% acceptable brisket. This is great brisket. It's not perfect brisket. I think if we can get it out a little bit longer, you got perfectly tender brisket, but this is great. You can do a very, very, very good brisket in that Woodfire Pro XL. If you have been enjoying this content, please do all the likey, subscribe stuff. There are links down there where you guys can buy your own Ninja Woodfire XLs, the pellets, everything. They are affiliate links. They do help out the channel. By the time this video has hit, we would have just hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for that. We very much appreciate that. Now there's only one more thing that I need to ask you. Do you know what the cow said to the butcher?
No.
You need to stop or we're gonna have some beef. Dad may tell very bad jokes, but there's one thing Dad doesn't do.
Dad doesn't dad show, so that's it. Bye.